Hey people, welcome to the channel, and in this case, a video about Bandolera knives. Yes, you've probably seen them from Cold Steel, Voyager, Espada Grande. Well, they're all actually Bandolera knives. What is it about Bandolera knives? Well, that word comes from the bandas, basically the gangs. Banda is gang in Spanish. So these were large knives used by gangs back in the day, hundreds of years ago in Spain. Before we go on with the video, as always, do subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy the content, by all means, I would love to reach 100,000 subscribers soon, and we're slowly getting there, but I need your support. Simply clicking on subscribe doesn't do anything really. Just click the notification bell button so as to get more videos. If you enjoy content like this, by the end of the video, you make the decision. And if you want to learn more about all of this stuff regarding self-defense, survival and preparedness, street survival skills, where I cover a lot of this stuff, as well as surviving the economic collapse. All of these available in the links there below in Amazon, and some links for some things if you may want to purchase stuff in Amazon too. So this is a video that was requested by someone in my Spanish channel, Jose Park. He said, "Hey Fernando, do a video about Bandolera knives. Do you know what those are? I've seen some of these made by Cold Steel. Are they good knives? Are these good knives for self-defense? What about the quality in general and so on?" Well, let's start basically about the legality of the Bandolera knives. First of all, in terms of legality, I honestly don't know. It will depend on where you are. I can only tell you this. You have certain regulations and laws no matter where you are. If it's not illegal, then by default, things tend to be legal. This is something standard pretty much anywhere in the world. Is it specifically illegal? Yes, well, then that's illegal. What about the blade length? What blade length can it have? The law says it has to be up to this length. Can it lock or can it not lock? Again, it will depend. Example, if you're watching this from United Kingdom, then you know that your knife cannot lock and it cannot be a fixed blade, no matter what length, no matter who gave you the knife. Oh, but this was something that I inherited from my great-great-great-granddaddy it does not matter. It is locking or it is a fixed blade knife, then it is banned. And you have a very clear sentence for that crime that you've committed. Oh, okay. So no locking and no fixed blade. Yeah, I'm kind of screwed, right? Yeah, you sort of are. But what about blades that do not lock? Well, if it does not lock, it has to be under 3 inches. So under 3 inches and not locking, then you're okay. You can carry that thing all day long. Oh, but if I have a justification, well, that's going to be tricky territory, because it's gonna be up to whoever is stopping you, especially these days in UK. You're gonna be fucked. There's not gonna be any goodwill from these people in the government. Oh, but I'm a butcher and I was carrying my knives from the store where I bought them to my butcher store. Okay, I guess you will be just fine. Oh, but I just like being prepared. That is not gonna be a valid excuse in UK. You will end up with your ass in jail for that. Especially if you have any kind of knife that is specifically not allowed to be had, right? I have a little Victorinox sub 3-inch blade pen knife. Okay, UK legal. You're okay with that. But any of these things, my point is, know your local laws. If those not, for example, in Argentina, you're not supposed to carry weapons. It is basically like that. It doesn't specify what. So what is it? I can have an axe, a sword, a dagger, a little folding knife. Well, since it's not specified, it really is, and there's no clear sentence. There's no really any clear time in prison for this crime of carrying a weapon. It just says don't carry weapons. You're not supposed to. But there's no clear sentence. Now, there is a very clear time spent in jail if you illegally carry a firearm. So that is what's really banned. Now, in terms of not having weapons in general, it's gonna be up to the cop. They stop you in the middle of the night with a bag, with a crowbar, duct tape, and a screwdriver and lockpicks. Yeah, you're probably gonna see your ass dragged to jail, and he may try to land you there for a long time, but unless any of those things are specifically banned, which they are not in Argentina, you're probably gonna be free to go. Maybe they take that away from you, and you may even have a strong case to demand those things to be returned, because it is up to the decision of the cop on the spot, but you don't have it in the books, you don't have it in the laws. In other places, like in UK and other places, you do. So again, know your local laws. In terms of how good they are or not, it's gonna depend on the materials and the craftsmanship of that specific bandolera knife. Cold steel, which are the 3 ones that they have here, they're very good. They're good quality knives, nothing fancy in terms of the materials, but it may be a shitty built knife or it may be a high quality. Just because of the design and the type of knife does not make it great on its own or not. It's gonna be up to that. Is it for bushcrafting? No, it's gonna be seriously more of a defensive use knife, and that's what I've had it for many years. This is the first one that I got. This was back in the day, El Hombre. These were made in Japan by Cold Steel, very high quality, not some of the nicer things they've had, but already on both hands, ambidextrous, which was a thing, jimping, so it is decent size. And this is a knife that actually came in handy at a time. I was in a train. There were a couple of guys that were, hey, you were asking about the time, right? And we're getting closer. Obviously, they wanted my watch, and it was not this one. It was some other watch. But they were looking to procure my watch, and I was not interested in accommodating for that. So I brought out my knife, and when they saw my knife, they backed away. And that was it. That was all there was to it. I didn't have to do anything beyond that, and you're not supposed to. If you have your knife and they back away, that's it. You don't just because I brought out my knife, it has to taste blood because I'm a samurai warrior bullshit kind of thing. Or no, I have my kukri, which if it doesn't, I have to cut my own finger because if not, the spirit of the the soul of the blade will not be, bullshit like that. No, it's gonna depend. These are all very different situations. You have to be there. Was I smart about it? Maybe not. Was I risking myself? Maybe. Were there a number of things I could have done? Okay. But in a train where there was no one else and I had a couple of people closing in on me and obviously interested in my watch, I just reacted that way. Younger, more stupid, I don't know. But it works. Brought up my knife and they, okay. I don't know if they had any knives of their own. I don't know. Apparently, based on the clothes, and it was summer in Latin America, I didn't see anything all that visible. So maybe they had something, maybe they did not. I reacted that way and it worked for me. Maybe they were both armed and they decided, you know what, it's not worth it. He's an asshole. He's willing to die over his damn watch. Screw him. We'll go rob someone else. Or maybe they didn't have anything and they thought just because it was 2 versus 1, they were gonna have the upper hand on that. And then they saw this kind of intimidating blade and they thought, yes, fuck that guy. No, we'll go look for someone else. But basically it worked. And from that point on, I always had that one. And then I moved on to, you know what, if that works, I'll go even bigger because we're obviously having success here. And I went for this. And for many years, this one was carried for years. As you see, they were there. And then this one I carried for years as well. And this is a giant ass intimidating blade. You maybe don't appreciate it on video, but it is, just for comparison's sake, this is a K-bar knife. This is what I was carrying in my pocket. So it is a freaking intimidating blade. Oh, intimidation doesn't work. Well, maybe it does, maybe it does not. I don't know, man. It's gonna depend. What I do know is it depends. It's for some people may be intimidated with just this knife. Some people will be intimidated by the larger blade. Some people may not be intimidated at all. As I showed you in the video, maybe some people are not even intimidated when you point a gun at them. They don't give a fuck. Like that guy, he had a revolver on him and he said, "Screw you, fuck you, asshole." And he had nothing. He had nothing, but he was mad, crazy, high, drunk. You don't know. Maybe he had a bad day and he thought he was just way too pissed to care about your revolver or your knife. All of these things will depend. This is a huge, infinite spectrum of not genders, but grayscale of shit show situations or, nothing or worst possible outcome. And it could be anything, right? This truly is an infinite spectrum of possibilities. You only have to use your best common sense and, hope you have your a cool head about you and you prepared accordingly. And ideally, you avoid the situation entirely. If that's not the case, then you Make it clear that you're willing to defend yourself. Sometimes you don't even have the time. If you have a gun on you and you're armed yourself, the only thing you can do is draw and shoot immediately. There's no negotiation. There's no intimidation. There's none of this. Okay, dude, let's go at it and see what happens. No, you have to come out shooting right away. If it's the case that you're being held at gunpoint and at some moment you can grab that gun at some type, you're not going to be doing, hey, let go of the gun. No, you're just going to go to work and probably start cutting things you need to cut so as to incapacitate that person without any warning or nothing. You just do it immediately because you don't have that option anymore. Again, a giant spectrum of possibilities, and anyone that thinks they have the perfect answer for anything or everything, he's probably just, he's probably just lying to himself and trying to lie to you as well, okay? But this is something I carried for many, many years. Now, this is a pretty big blade. In some countries, there is a certain rule about blade length. Can you carry a 16 centimeter blade? It may well be or not. If there's a rule about blade lengths and this is breaking it, well, don't carry this. Maybe go with that one, a little bit smaller. But for many years, and this is something that I even carry in jeans, it barely fits. Barely in my Levi jeans, barely fits and stays, this part stays out like that, but people are still surprised when you bring this up because it is freaking gigantic. And it's intimidating, and if intimidation is not enough, it is something that will go. I mean, again, it is about, the K-bar is definitely bigger, but really not by that much more. It is a freaking giant blade. Now, the next one that came, and this is one that I carried for a lot less because eventually I ended up moving and so on, and where I was, this was no longer an option. But this is the Voyager. So we have El Hombre, made in Japan. We have the Espada Grande, also made in Japan. And then we have the Voyager, whatever name this is, made in Taiwan, and maybe the steel is not as nice, but it has a triad lock, meaning it's even stronger. Are these more than strong enough? Absolutely. Those are more than strong enough. This is just even stronger, maybe less nicer steel, but still, I like the straight edge. I got with the serrations, and those are nice serrations. They're from cold steel. They cut through stuff, but given that I have the recurve, I don't really feel the need for those serrations as much. It is still gonna, and I feel it's gonna be, instead of catching and pulling, it's gonna be slicing, which is something I want in case you have to worry about the retention with these things, which you do, because knives get dropped in knife fights all the time, or in self-defense situations all the time. Are you likely to break the tip? Yes, it is super fine, but it's also gonna be going through whatever you're pushing it through with extreme ease, it is a scary knife, man. No joke. Intimidation or not? Well, whatever happens, this is super effective as a blade. As a fighting knife, you're screwed. If you get this stuck on you, you're fucked. Let's make that super simple. It is extremely sharp, it is very wide, it is very pointy, and I don't know. Now, I would like to see the numbers. We don't have them, and we probably never will. But between getting shot with a 22 or even a 9mm, or getting this stuck in my belly and pulled apart, yeah, you're going to be disemboweled with this thing. It is scary sharp, scary big and pointy, and yeah, it just triggers something very primal in anyone that sees it, with the intent of avoiding it at all costs. Let's put it that way. Oh, what if you have a gun, sure, but you don't want to be in close range of any blade, right? No matter what you have. And that's the thing, the intimidation. Can you counter it or not? No, I personally don't count on the intimidation factor. I accept it could potentially well exist because based on my experience, it may well be the case. Maybe someone is intimidated and just feels that he doesn't want to risk it. I don't know if it would have been the same thing with a Victorinox soldier knife. I mean, I know of a guy that was trying to fight someone, and that guy brought out a Victorinox. Just open it like that. that, you know, a little tiny Victorinox knife. And he didn't go for it. He thought he was gonna get into a fist fight, and it turns into a knife fight all of a sudden. He said, you know, fuck that. I'm not getting into this. I don't care if it's a Victorinox, a peg knife. I don't want to get stabbed with anything. And I guess he was intimidated. But I'm not counting on the intimidation factor. I'm counting on this being a giant ass knife if I'm carrying one of these things. Oh, someone's intimidated by it and he turns around and leaves. Okay, perfect. Even better, right? But don't count on that alone, right? I saw a video recently from this guy, a Navy SEAL, and the guy was saying, yeah, I leave my wife, she doesn't like guns, so I leave her a pump-action shotgun, you know? Because when you rack that thing and it goes there, that scares everyone away. I don't think that's very smart. I don't care if the guy is a fucking Navy SEAL or not. I think that's kind of stupid. Your wife that does not like guns, you leave her a pump-action shotgun and just counting on the noise scaring people? Yeah, I would rather give her a revolver, very simple to use. I know that she will have those rounds. 6 shots will be fired at the very least. I would rather go with that. And if someone is intimidated by a firearm, I think that revolver will intimidate people or not. Or not, you just don't know. But I know that when it comes down to being used, that is far more likely to be used successfully by someone that is not into firearms than a freaking pump-action shotgun. Guys, that is what I have for you so far. If you enjoy the content, do subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments below. See you next time. Take care.